Hi everyone, welcome to Get Candid, the show about overcoming the harsh realities of getting ideas out of your head and into the world. Let's dig into the creative minds of inspiring people who dare to lead and who are willing to get a little bit candid with me, your host, Clara Piedalue. Hi everyone, I'm Clara Piedalue and you're watching In the Muse. This is the show where we get into the creative process and learn more about our guest and their artistic stylings, as well as how they express their creativity and get into their creative process. I hope that the show offers some inspiration for you to maybe channel your creativity and put your creative outlet into the world. Today I'm really excited to welcome our very first guest on our first episode of In the Muse. Warm welcome to Cole Hawg. Thank you, Cole.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. So Cole is a local of Lethbridge, and you're also a comedian doing stand-up as well as a musician. And I couldn't think of a more perfect guest to invite for our first episode. So thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Nice.
I appreciate that. I'm a drummer. Let's make that clear.
Not a
so
musician.
much a musician.
So what's the difference?
Well, here's the difference. So, ironically, you mentioned comedy. I was listening to a podcast with Bill Burr recently, and he said something that blew my mind, that there's a difference between doing the drums and playing the drums. I'm literally just taking from his words right now, but that is so accurate to how I feel. Like, I don't feel like I play the drums. I do the drums. I can get by.
I do drum.
Yeah, I do drums, yeah. I love how we've started this off by me just completely knocking my talents down.
Yeah, I've seen you perform with your band, Biloxi Parish. Great, amazing band, local band here in Lethbridge. If you haven't seen them, you definitely want to go and check them out. I think the role of the drummer is the glue, like the glue of the band is the drummer. So I think maybe you might be, I've seen your show and you are definitely holding the songs together, like with the band. It's a very communal, group feeling. Like it's you guys are really well connected, and I think that makes a big difference for the performance.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know I'm fine. I just like to be self-deprecating because I find if I put labels on things, so it's really hard for me to call myself a comedian because then I feel like people expect me to be funny. And when I call myself a musician, it creates expectation. And then people see me in the fear of them realizing, what was that?
It must really suck for you to go to a party, like when just showing up at a dinner party or someone's party, and they know that you're a drummer, and you're in the kitchen having some drinks, and they're like, "You're a drummer. Here's 2 wooden spoons and a bucket. Show us what you can do."
If that ever happened, I would leave. I would never.
No, but when you're a comedian,
yeah,
they're always like, "Say something funny."
Right, yeah. So that doesn't actually happen as often as I thought it would. Yeah, which I'm happy about.
Sure. Can you share with us your origin story? Like, how did you let's hear about your origin story, about how you came into about stand-up comedy specifically. Like, how did that all come to be?
Oh, stand-up's a interesting one because I wanted to try it. I really wanted to try it for my whole life. Like, probably since I was 8, I discovered Comedy Now on the Comedy Central. This is so wild. So this is such a small world, but my best friend Zach, who also plays in Biloxi Parish with me, his mom's new husband, they just got married a couple Octobers ago, has a brother who's a professional comedian. His name is Steve Dillon. That's his stage name. And I discovered Steve on Comedy Now, like so many years ago, and it was like it's such a weird connection. So when I met him, I was like starstruck. And then he's really good friends with amazing Canadian comic John Doerr, and I'm a huge fan of his. He had a show called the John Doerr Television Show, and Steve actually got him to send me like a picture and a quick message about, the kind of like a shout out. It was incredible. And so that idea of like trying stand-up comedy has always been in the back of my mind. And then when I found out that the Owl downtown had an open mic, I went for it. I did it. It went okay, and then I was like, that's all I needed. We're good. And I didn't do it again for probably 2 or 3 years. And then I met my my really good friend Lakshit Gill. I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you know Lux very well, and I met him at a house party, and him and I just started talking, and he told me about how he started up comedy again, and that there's the open mic at the Owl is still going strong, and he encouraged me to go back out and try it again. And I'm so glad I listened to him. Like so I went.
So am I.
Yeah, and I went and haven't looked back. So it's really because of Lux that I'm doing stand-up.
I love this. I love like the story of the support that you received, and like that motivation that you got, like from receiving a little bit from Steve Doerr.
John Doerr,
John Doerr, and then also from your friend Lux. And, like,
to be clear, though, he didn't give me any. He didn't say, "Hey, you should go do comedy." He was more or less just being like, "Hey, thanks for being a fan."
Yeah.
But nonetheless, when that happens, like when your heroes are like that down to earth, it speaks wonders.
Do you think that support is important to be able to keep going, to be continually putting yourself out there?
Absolutely, yeah, it definitely helps. No one wants to be told that they shouldn't do something, but yeah, of course. And what I love so much about like our scene, and it's so small. First of all, Lethbridge's comedy scene is I know everybody by name. I know their families. I know it's very little, and then you go to open mic in Calgary, and there's like 16 comics on a lineup in one weeknight. It's like, this is amazing. But yeah, what I love though is we all support each other, and we all want to see each other succeed. And I truly have never had an issue with a fellow comic in the community, because everyone's just boosting each other up.
I really feel like that's a good vibe about our city. Lethbridge gets hit a lot. There's a lot that we can poke fun of in our city, but something that I've always loved about living here is how supportive the stand-up comedy scene is, and also the music scene and the art community.
It's amazing. The arts community in general is really incredible, and I think as of recent years, like, we've seen a huge increase of that. No, I totally agree with you. It's awesome.
So hey, big shout out to the support that we get as creatives in Lethbridge. Thank you, Lethbridge, for being awesome in that one way.
But there's others too.
There's others too.
I think the biggest downfall of Lethbridge though is I'm sure you know what I'm gonna say, but when Eastside Mario's got shut down, because that was my go-to place.
I know, but I feel like since Eastside Mario shut down, you've actually lost some weight.
You're wrong. I believe they shut down when I was 12.
When you were 12, it was like bread and pasta.
I was thin.
And that's really all you eat when you're a kid. It's cheese, bread, pasta. Those are the three food groups.
That's funny though. Yeah, I didn't know that we were roasting each other. This is
sorry.
Great.
It was because of our pre-show chit chat. Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, I was kind of wondering, like, to learn a little bit about your comedic stylings. Like, how do you get ready? How do you come up with material?
Oh God, it's I try. So it's weird. It's so funny that you bring this up, because I'm currently trying to readjust how I do stand-up. Before the pandemic, I was doing it, I think I did it for 2 years consistently before, and for lack of a better term, I was a lot more fearless. Like I had a lot more fun with it. And I don't know what happened, but like when the pandemic hit and everyone was forced to stay home and stop being, out in the public, I kind of was content with like even music, like, and it's crazy to say now because I love music and comedy so much. It's a part of me, absolutely. But I had a comfort with not doing anything, and I think a lot of people probably went through that as well. And so, going back to stand up, I did what I did before, which was I would like write out bits almost verbatim of what I was gonna say and have these like beats prepared. And it seemed to work. For whatever reason, it worked a lot better before the pandemic. But coming back now, like I have never bombed worse than I have after the lockdown.
Yeah.
I say after the pandemic, but it's still happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
When Kenny canceled COVID, it changed everything, and we all got to go outside again. And there was definitely a few sets I'm thinking of right now where I did that type of preparation, and it just completely blew up in my face because. If you're anticipating a laugh and you don't get it, there's nothing more devastating. I'm sure you know what I mean.
I do know exactly what you mean. I've had lots of times where I've bombed, but from you sharing your story, what I'm hearing is that you're challenging yourself you're challenging yourself and. Like when you bomb, like, there's a takeaway, like, because ultimately it's not about like what you think is funny as a comedian. Everybody always says this. It's what the audience laughs at. Like that's how you know if you got anything good.
100%. And yeah, so my new kind of what I'm trying to work with now is I'm just trying to be more natural in the sense that I'll have premises set up and things I want to touch on, but not have it down to like a script almost. Like I'm not trying to anticipate a particular laugh or create a particular beat. I'm just trying to be a little bit more natural on stage.
Whereas prior to you were more structured and had it all.
Yeah, and a lot of people
verbatim.
Right, and a lot of people would argue that I wasn't. That it was my comedy is all just someone just about to fall off the rails, and they see I see it as a compliment. Maybe it's an insult, but I've heard so many times being like, I never know what's prepared and what's just you, and I'm like, thank you. I want that, but I want that to be crisp.
Yes.
Right now I'm just ironing out the kinks. Yeah.
So what do you think about your creative process from like in the early days, like when you got started to like to like where it is now? Like how has your brain like lit up? Like do you have more like channels where some creative ideas are coming at you from different places, whereas before maybe it was just you like in the shower having a revelation? Or
I guess what's really helped now, I'll focus on like my current state, is just being surrounded by like-minded people and really talented people. Like my co-host on So You Think You Could Comic, that's a monthly show that we do at the Owl. Last one of the season's coming up May 18th, 9 p.m. at the Owl Acoustic Lounge. It's going to be great. $10 at the door. Clara's been on it. You're a star. People love you on that show. But Faris Aitia is one of my best friends, but is so talented and such a force that like you then want to do better. Like the biggest stress I have with doing a show with him is matching his energy of like, am I worthy enough to be doing something with him? And he would be very upset to hear that because that's not how he thinks at all. But nonetheless, that is a real insecurity that you have, and I just try to be the best I can be because my friends are so talented, and I want to be on that same kind of wave with them.
I think that's amazing. It's true. Like, it is really true. You become the summation of the 10 people you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
And so surrounding yourself with these talented people is obviously going to rub off in ways that you don't even understand or know or realize, which I think is actually
And
really
that's
cool.
why I keep drummers at an arm's length, because then I don't have to compare myself. Which is also not true. I'm friends with many drummers.
You are definitely not a lead singer.
Exactly. There we go. I can confidently say that. Yeah.
So I love how, like, you still being a young man, still being early on in your career as a comedian. If like, I feel like would you say that it's true that when you get started, like, just a lot of garbage just kind of comes out. But you got to kind of keep going to get through it, so that you can really find those gems, to allow the gems to start flowing, allow the really good stuff to come out. You have to kind of get through the Shawshank tunnel, so to speak. Do you think that that's true, or has that been your experience?
No.
No.
I don't know. So I don't know what you mean, really.
Yeah.
Like garbage, like.
You do a painting and it's like, it sucks, but like your third, fourth, fifth painting.
Sorry. No. That's happening all of the time. Yeah. So we're our band Biloxi Paris, where we have been recording an album since 2020 because of this little coy boy pandemic thing, and it's been a tremendous challenge for me personally, because we recorded the back line, so the drums and bass, in November of 2020, and then we came back to the studio in November of 2021, and in that time I've excelled as a drummer, confidently, like, technically, like, I just feel like I'm a little bit more relaxed and I'm having a lot more fun playing the drums than I ever have before, and I think it's because it was taken away from me for almost 2 years, and so now I cherish. I don't take it for granted anymore. I really understand. I'm really starting to understand, like, how lucky I am and the position I'm in, but hearing those drum parts from a year ago is really challenging, because it's like I could hear myself being hesitant. I can hear myself not committing. I can hear myself, like, there's certain parts that I have taken out of the songs because I know it's not working, and then coming back and hearing these recordings again and being like, oh, but we recorded that. Like, it's not a fun feeling. So that feeling of, not to say that my drum parts are garbage, but that feeling of putting out something that you're not confident in, I don't know if that ever goes away. I think as long as you have artist insecurity, which if you don't have, I don't know if I trust you. You have this kind of electronic paper trail of your past sets and past work, I think you're always gonna maybe have that challenge of putting out things that you're proud of,
Yeah, I think so too. It's about personal growth. I think, in my opinion, being an artist or being creative, it's a growth journey. That's something that it's one foot in front of one step at a time. It zigs, it zags, it's up, it's down. But as long as you keep pursuing and pushing, you'll push through, and something amazing can come out of it. What do you think about, like, for yourself with with the future? Where do you see your? Do you have a vision for your creativity for the future, or is it come as it does?
I do. I'm actually at quite the crossroads right now in my life. I went back to university 3 years ago to pursue education. I wanted my goal would be to be a school counselor. That's really where my passion lies for a career. However, this past semester has been grueling, to say the least, and I'm not sure if you're aware of kind of what's happened, but we've had the pandemic with online school, and then we had a strike. So we went back to school for 4 weeks. We were told to stay away for 8 weeks, and then we were told to come back and complete everything that we've done and missed in, like, technically 3 weeks. And so for a lot of people, they put their head down and they just powered through it, and I take my hat off to you, but that was not me. And I've decided to take a long needed break from school and realize that it wasn't making me happy, and I was actually quite miserable for 3 years, and I thought that was because of COVID, but actually my life got better because of COVID. Like I met the woman I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, the love of my life, and I feel like my relationships with my friends and family have grown, and so that could be it. And then my grandma got really sick, and she actually ended up passing away over Christmas. But so I thought maybe that's why I've been so upset. But I'm actually quite at peace with her. And so I realized it was school. So I'm taking a much needed break. I'm going to reassess maybe when I'm like 30. I'm 27 now, so 3 years to really just focus on music and comedy and just have a little breather and have some fun while I still can. Well, it's still kind of there for me to grow. But as far as like it being like what it is right now, like 5-10 years down the line, I will not let that happen. I will find something else to do, So I guess short form, as long as I see a growth in both music and comedy, I am happy to continue pursuing both of them.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It's I'm glad that you put all this work in to get to the bottom of what it really was that was bothering you, and making those like kind of feeling of doom and gloom, and I feel like it's something that perhaps maybe your creative self was fighting to get out more.
I think so. And shout out Dwayne Smith, local comic. He's the one in one of him and I have a very funny relationship because him and I will just yell at each other over things. We just get in these crazy heated debates, but he's the one that told me one night that if I'm not happy, I should find where I could be happy. And
how do you find that? Like, well, how do you know? Like, how do you know what makes?
Well, I know what doesn't make me happy, and that's Zoom University. So I'm definitely gonna take a break from that. But and honestly, like, I cannot stress this enough. If I can give any advice to anybody, do not base your self-worth off your education. It is not worth it, and I did it for so long without realizing it. I'm a total hypocrite, and so
well, now this is like, now that you're like on the hero's journey. I mean, now that you went through it, now you're back giving that wisdom, trying to share the wisdom with others.
As a dropout too, on top of it. I was giving this advice about school. I didn't even finish.
Well, it's I mean, like, we've all seen Pink Floyd, The Wall, where school just beats the creativity right out of you. And I feel like possibly, I mean, I'm just possibly, one theory is, that's when we, start thinking that being a creative is wrong, misplaced, I can't do it. An artist is going to die in poverty on the street. That's artsy fartsy, and like all of those other types of, adages that come with it. But like, that's what we're trying to do here, is dispel some of that, because I think that we're born to create, and creativity is what moves the universe. And, I think that making the world a better place, where everybody, I think creativity could be being more creative, or having people create, it could help, make this world a little bit of a better place. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to talk about any, like, upcoming shows? So I know we hit the 18th for So You Thinking Comic. Is Biloxi Parish playing anytime soon?
We're playing this Friday in Calgary at Market Collective at 7 p.m. That will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday night at the Owl, Zach is going to be playing an acoustic set.
Oh, right on.
With one of our really good friends, Amy Nelson, who's
Nice.
a country singer from Calgary.
Okay, cool.
And I unfortunately, we were supposed to do full band, but I unfortunately have some family matters, so I won't be able to make it. So, but Zach's going to do incredible. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it will be, definitely. That's going to be a great show. Well, I wanted to just kind of finish up the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I like to wrap up the show with some questions from the Proust questionnaire. James Lipton used it a lot on Inside the Actors Studio, if you've ever seen that.
I have.
Okay, good. So do you want to do these questions with me?
Sure.
And they're just like rapid fire. It's not like don't think too hard about them.
Sure.
That takes away from the fun. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, perfect, great. Okay, so Cole, what's your favorite word?
I can't say it on here. Just kidding. Love.
Oh, nice.
It's just easier to love than hate.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree. Hey, what's your least favorite word?
Hate.
What turns you on?
Probably like feeling content.
Nice.
Like just today I had a day off because of us meeting, and so I was in my backyard, and it's been beautiful today, and yeah, just like I wasn't like, I was sober. I was just in my backyard. I think I was having a water even, and I'm like, this is actually quite nice. You don't need a whole lot to feel content, hey?
No, you don't. I think as you get older, it's like the beauty in the world becomes enough.
And like for me, like I always, I still struggle with this, but I've always found that I find happiness through stuff. So like if I go shopping, if I go shopping, I guess, like materialistic things, or going out for dinner 3 times a week. You know what I mean? It's just, it ends up financially catching up to you, and then you, at the end of the night, still have to be with yourself. And so if you can just feel content in the little things and not breaking the bank doing it, then I think that's pretty good. Yeah,
that's actually probably one of the most holistic answers I've ever heard to that question.
Especially to what turns you on.
I know, which I absolute missionary. Okay, so the flip side, what turns you off?
Well, like the easy ones are like racism and homophobia and transphobia. Anyone. But I guess to kind of make that more specific, people that want to see others fail or want to see others not succeed, I find that to be so redundant, because it's like, why? And then B, it's so unnecessary, because I don't think people realize the damage that words have. And like the idea of 10 people loving you and then 1 person hating you is that's so accurate, because you will focus on that one person. And that just totally turns me off. Like to have, unless it's justified, like believe me, I have seen some comics say some things where I'm like, you deserve to be told no. But I mean, even then, it's like, someone got on stage and they tried their best. Like, just let them be, Yeah.
Just give them a round of applause. Say, good job, you got out there.
Yeah.
You did it.
Yeah.
It takes
I'm literally thinking of one time, and it's so specific. It was so many years ago, but do you have time for a quick story?
Oh, yeah, of course we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
So when we were 15, I played in this high school band called Vista Park, and it was the reason I'm playing drums is because of that band. Because my best friend at the time, he had this great idea to start a band, and he needed a drummer, and so I bought the drums, and then we just started playing. It was, to think of that now, like, that brings me so much anxiety, but yeah, at the time I was like, sure, dude. So the Owl, Steve Ford, he would open the bar for us, Steve and Mel, every Sunday, and we would play for our friends and family. And I don't even know if many people remember this, but I have a very specific memory of us playing one of these Sundays and another guy showing up wanting to perform. And so he played after us, and it was him on stage wearing a motorcycle helmet, doing pills, and hitting himself with a bat on the head, refusing to get off the stage.
Wow, this performance art.
It was something, and he was like, but he was being very, he was staying on that stage. And Why did I bring that up? What was the
Oh,
question?
because we were talking about how people can just be like be full of hate.
Okay, well, I take that back. Actually, I love that he did that. Even relating it back, I'm like, that's actually like the coolest thing ever. Because think about that, like he had to have been in his 30s.
Yeah.
And for him to just show up and be like, these children just did these like 10 little pop songs. Let me just ruin everybody's nights. Never mind. Shout out to that guy. I hope he's doing well.
Clearly, he left an impression. If you're still talking
Yeah,
about
I'm gonna text Steven and ask if he remembers that because I'll never forget it. It was the weirdest thing. And my parents were mortified.
Oh, I bet.
They're like, this is the, and I'm like, well, this is the line, this is the field we're going into. This is live performance, so better get used to it.
Yeah, I respect anybody who's going to go up on stage and just do something completely like out in the universe somewhere else.
Oh, I know what it was. I said sometimes people, believe me, I've seen people do things and they deserve to be told no or whatever.
Yeah.
I was wrong. Never mind.
Whatever
you just do you.
Just do you. Yeah. Exactly. It's about the audience receiving it. All right, cool. I'm going to ask you the next question.
For sure, yeah.
What is your favorite sound?
My favorite sound, probably, I'm on a really big Wilco kick right now. So anything from Wilco.
Yeah, nice.
Producing sounds, I'm all for it.
Nice, very cool. What's your least favorite sound?
Anything that Alt J produces. Do you know Alt J?
No, but I can reasonably guess that he's a rapper? Or?
No. They're like this weird pop band, and they just never did anything for me. I used to live in a basement suite, and my landlord, who's also one of my good friends, loves Alt J. And so I used to blast it for him, and then I realized that it was just helping him out and not doing anything for me, so I stopped doing that.
Yeah, good.
I'm selfish.
It's okay to be selfish, and no is a complete sentence. I love it.
Nice.
Oh, good. So, hey, what profession would you like to attempt, like outside of what you've already done?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm kind of already doing it because my new job, I do sales for a screen printing company in town called Sinking Ship with one of my good buddies, Christian Nelson, and I've always wanted to work for him, and so now I am.
Good.
And that's been going well.
Yeah, and that's another creative job because you're helping
I've always wanted to be in sales because I hate salespeople. I used to work in the mall, and not to start any beef here, but Vivint, whoever is training the Vivint staff, I see you, and I'm not impressed. Like it's clearly like a just on like TV. What's the word? Like sorry, I lost my train of thought. I thought you were a Vivint trainer the way you were doing this.
Used to be. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Because I know who the guy is. I used to work as a manager for their sales team.
Okay, so like, it's clearly.
So I totally relate.
It's clearly just like this cookie cutter like tutorial. That's the word I was looking for. Where they're just like and they used to come to the mall, and I know the conversations they probably had in their car, like mall employees hate their job. Like we can go like get them. They're broken people. I actually liked selling hats, so I was really offended when they would come in and try to woo me with their poker nights. Ugh. Yeah, so so ever since then I'm like, and people think that the low-hanging fruit is like missionaries, like, you know, Mormons, because they're glorified salespeople as well. However, at least they're doing it for a religion, like they believe it. Like Vivint, they're like, what, they believe in security systems? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like it's like, why are you working so hard for a company that will only pay you if you sell their product? Like, you know what I mean? Like at that point, just get on a salary job or whatever. And ever since then, I was like, I am going to do sales one day and show them that you can be a good person and sell a product.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like a lot of people believe like you have to like you have to like manipulate, bribe, cheat, like lie like to get a sale, and it's actually not at all the case. It's about really connecting with people and understanding what they're really like, listening and understanding what they need, like what they're saying to you, and like that's what it's about, the connection and solving their problems. Like it's nothing to do about.
And hey, it's not anything you with Vivint either. I understand people like home security systems. I'm just saying, Vivint, this is your opportunity. Train your employees better, because it's so grossly obvious what they're trying to do, and no one's buying it.
None of the employees are. So I guess that would bring me to my next question, which would be, is there any profession that you would never want to do?
Food service.
Food service.
Never. My fiance is a server, and the stories that she has, and she would tell you too. She works at a wonderful place, and the staff and the clientele are, it's like 99.999% great, but all those one-off stories that can just ruin your weekend, like, yeah, I could never do food service. I have no idea how people do it. Like, I mean, chefs, like anyone working in a kitchen, I'm like, because I can't cook at all. We tried that, Hello Fresh.
Yeah, Hello Fresh.
And we canceled it because I can't even do that. Like I couldn't even do that. So, food service for sure.
Nice, good.
Yeah.
So I have one last question.
Sure.
If God really does exist, what would you like to hear him say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would like him to tell me before that you can stop worrying so much about death, because that is something that I battle with all the time. Like, I'll wake up in these like crazy panic attacks about like my organs, like how I'm literally about to steal a bit here, so I'm not going to do it, but there is a Calgary headliner. His name is Matt Foster. He's also a drummer. He is like someone that I aspire to be. He has this brilliant bit about that fear of like, I'm not going to give his joke away, but nonetheless, that fear of death and like, how your body functions and how we just trust that everything's going to be okay. And like, I would like God to tell me like, hey, you can chill. Like, just have fun, because life's okay,
Yeah, you have. I think you have my permission. Life is okay.
I know. Hey,
Yeah.
I've started to really realize that and run with that.
Yeah.
But I guess I will answer your question. If I was at the pearly gates and God, what was the question?
What do you want to hear him say?
Oh, I would like to hear him say, thank you for treating everyone in your circle and anyone that you came in contact with the love and respect that you hope that you receive as well. Because I really try to live by that. I think that it's important to shake everybody's hands and to
reply to people's videos.
Oh my goodness. And and a big one too is like, and this goes more for bands, I guess, but any type of live performer, make sure you're shaking hands with the sound tech, and make sure you're shaking hands with the bar staff, and understand that it is symbiotic, and that like a show is always going to be 50-50, and one cannot survive without the other, and that if you have an ounce of like ego or like hierarchy, it's just stay home then,
Just stay home. It's all about the collective.
Yeah, don't even ask for a green room, none of that stuff. Just be out in the bar with everybody else.
I only want red Smarties.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I always thought that I think that you're a very generous and giving person, and you always have time for anybody who wants to talk after the show or on the street. Or
I really try to be, and you can ask my fiance. There's nights where I'll go through like a mental checklist of like, oh, I forgot to talk to this person, I forgot to talk to this person, and then Grace will be like, they're not even thinking about you right now. You can go to bed.
Very nice. Good. Yeah, so it's really thanks to that attitude and that like the spirit of bringing everyone together, like that. It's people like you that makes our scene, like makes Lethbridge an amazing place for artists to be.
Oh, well, thank you.
So thank you, Cole, so much for being on our first show. I loved it so much. I have a gift for you.
Oh, my goodness.
I wanted to give you a gift. Here we go. This is my last pair, and I've saved them for
nice.
you. Here you go. Thanks for sharing the love. Your favorite word.
Look at that. Hey.
Too perfect. Nice.
Nice.
Very good. And hey, thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in into the first episode of In the Muse. We hope to bring you inspiration and personality and creative outlets that you will find inspiration in and open up your creative channels as well. Remember to give yourself permission to be creative. Oh, and thank you so much, Ben and Thomas.
What did I just say?
I know. Oh my gosh, what did I just say? Thanks so much for the back end support. Thomas and Ben are here, production crew, making it happen through volunteerism and support and community. Couldn't have done it without you guys 100%. So thanks for being here too and showing your support, building something cool, I hope.